I'm Davi, and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today's video was a requested video, so thank you so much to this person. I don't want to say your name because I don't want to mispronounce it, but thank you so much for suggesting the video. So I'll be going through my resume and showing the key points throughout the whole thing that I feel got me this Nike internship and a bunch of other opportunities that it did get. And I will be using this resume with a few small tweaks in it to apply for full-time positions this fall. So please subscribe if you are new and if you're interested in computer science and software engineering opportunities as well. Also a little bit of video games as well. I'll be making a lot of videos about my experience in my senior year of college and applying to full-time positions. I think that would be super cool and fun. And I am just ending my Nike internship as a software engineer. So it was an amazing opportunity. Without further ado, let's just get into it. So the first thing that I think is important is the resources and tools to make the resume. So there's definitely Word document. You can definitely use that, or maybe PowerPoint if you're into that as well. But specifically, I use this thing called latex and overleaf. So at my university, I had this one class where we had to make PDFs for everything, and she required us to use this software called latex. And they have a lot of resume built-in functions as well, just like outlines like that. And it just like is a platform that you literally just plug in your information, and it is just like very concise and clear on what goes where and when goes where, and it's just like a very good resource. I'm not sponsored by them. We've never been contacted by them, but I think this is an amazing resource, and this is what I personally use to build my resume. So the first important thing after the resource is that, in my opinion, resumes need to be one page. So it needs to all of your information of your past opportunities need to fit in one page to make it clear and concise to the employer when they're looking at it, because a normal interviewer person is looking at a resume for maybe 5 to 10 seconds, and you want to give them the bolded things quickly. They don't have the time to go through 100 resumes, right, and read 2 pages per person. That's 200 pages, and that's just unrealistic for them. And so it is very important to keep your resume to one page. My resume is built into 5 key sections with 5 main points, and they're clear and bolded so that the reviewer that is looking at my resume is very clear. I'm like, this is the section that's my education, this is my section on this, and this is the section on this. So the thing that is at the top of my resume is my name and my contact information. It's big and bolded at the top. I personally put my full name, my first, middle, and last name. I just think my name is beautiful, so I put it up there. And I put my cell phone number and my email. Some people put their personal website and their LinkedIn, and by all means go for it. I personally don't have a personal website, and I think my LinkedIn is just regurgitation of what's on my resume, so I don't think that it is important to put it on there. But if you would like, go for it. So that is what is at the top of my resume. So the first big section at the top, right underneath my name, is my education. So my education is what school I went to. If you went to community college and transferred to a 4-year university, those 2 schools would be there. You should not have your high school in that education if you were in college, because everything in high school needs to be left in high school. So at the top for me is just my university. So it has my university, and directly under that is a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science / a minor in Cognitive Science, because that is the degree that I'm getting. On the right side is just the location of my university and my GPA. The GPA is very important to have, because I think that they need to be having that information. So your GPA is important and needs to be on there, because I'll be like in career fairs, and if your GPA isn't on there, they ask you. So it's just like better to not have them ask if it's on there. And then I have my expected graduation date, which is May 2021, which is next year. So that is also something that is important to have on your resume, so that employers know, okay, this student is not going to be internship worthy, they're going to be full-time worthy, depending on when they're graduating. And then right underneath that, I put relevant courses. And I think this is also important because certain employers and certain opportunities require you to take specific classes. For example, like data structures and algorithms, if you're applying for, full-time positions for software engineering and stuff like that. And so it's easier to put relevant courses that you think are relevant right in there, so that they know, okay, this person has met those base requirements already, and they don't need to ask you. You want your resume to be a blanket picture of you, and not allow them and not force them to ask you questions that should already be on there. So for a few examples of relevant courses for me was just like data structures, web programming, computer graphics, and a bunch of other stuff that I've taken. I will be updating this again when I take my classes in the fall, which is like software engineering, algorithms, and I'm taking computer architecture. So those classes will be put into that as well. So it's important to update that section. You don't have to put all of your classes, you just have to put the relevant classes, which is why it's called relevant. The next section that's directly under it is called technical skills. And I think this is a very important question. Some people put it at the bottom, but I think it's important to put it at the top because you're applying to a technical position. You want them to know your technical skills, in my opinion. So there's two sections on here. It's my languages and my operating systems. So I know the languages that are listed on this sheet, on this section, like Java, C, C++, Python. And specifically, the section is ordered from my most proficient language to my least proficient language, with my most proficient being Java and my least proficient being JavaScript. And I think that's just the way that I chose to do it, just from least to greatest, or greatest to least. And directly under that is just some operating systems that I am capable in working in, such as Linux, Windows, and Mac. The next section, I think is the most important one, it is your past experiences. So it is called related experience. So the opportunities that are listed in here are going from most recent to least recent. So the first opportunity at the top is Nike. That is the most recent experience that I do have. And directly under it was the team that I was on, Advanced Analytics and Machine Learning. And I think that's important to be clear for the employer. Okay, this is where I worked and this was the team that I was on. And then directly under that is 3 bullet points of essentially what I did when I was there. And it's important to have these 3 bullet points be action words. So for example, the first line is developed features and schemas in Java and Python. And I think that's really important because it gives them clear and concise, okay, I developed blank, blank, blank. And it's also really important if you're putting what languages that opportunity was in, that you bold them. I actually got this from a Google recruiter one time, which I thought was really cool. Again, you're applying to technical positions, which is programming and stuff like that. If you're doing an opportunity that requires programming and stuff like that, you want the employer to know that I was actively using these programming languages in this opportunity. So I think that's really, really important. And then on the right side of that column is just like the location. So for example, the Nike internship was virtual. So I just put virtual and then the time that you did it. So it was in summer 2020. So each 3 of those bullet points have to be key action words. And so the rest of the opportunities that I have in there just go from there. So the internship that I did last year, which was a research experience. So I did the university that I did it in Philadelphia, and I did it in the summer of 2019. And again, you used action words. For example, developed simulations and programs in Python, bolded, for visualization of quantum chemistry. So that is what I did when I was there for 3 months. And then the next opportunity is just what I was doing in school. So it doesn't have to only be internships that you do. If you're doing research, if you're working during school time, that can also go in here. It just is related experience. So in my opinion, anything that's related to computer science or your major in any kind of way can go in there. So the next opportunity that I have under there is just the research that I did, the program, what the program was called, the specific team that I was on, and 3 action words. And then also the time period that I did it in. So for example, I did it between spring of 2019 and October. That is when I did that opportunity. And so it just goes from there. I was also a TA, and so that position is also there. I was the TA for the introduction class of computer science. I actually really enjoyed that. So that opportunity is also in related experience because again, it is a computer science class that I was TAing, and that is related to my experience. The next section is additional experience. And so additional experience, in my opinion, is just your part-time jobs and stuff like that. So for example, if you're part-time working at Chick-fil-A, you put it in there. And I think that those types of opportunities are still important and to be noted because it shows, for example, you can say if you're working at Chick-fil-A, that you're a team member, you know how to handle money, you know how to work on a team, you know how to communicate efficiently because you're customer service. So it's more important the way that you share what you did than more of like what you did. So, you could just say, I worked at Chick-fil-A, or you could say, I worked at Chick-fil-A and I had the ability to work on a team and effectively work on a team. I was able to effectively communicate with customers. I was able to serve a large amount of people and just stuff like that, action words. And also people really love metrics. So if you work at Chick-fil-A, for example, say that you are able to effectively communicate and talk with over 300 people a day and able to keep everything efficient and in a timely manner and stuff like that. I might keep using Chick-fil-A because I just like Chick-fil-A. I did work at Chick-fil-A in high school for like 3 months, but that's not on here because it was in high school, but that is also an opportunity. So for me, it's just my current position at my university and when I worked at AMC as a cook. So those are just 2 opportunities that is there. And then the next section and the last section for me is honors and projects. And I think that this is also a kind of iffy section as well. So specifically mine is sectioned into years, so 2018, 2019, and then if I had more space, it would also be 2020, but there's not enough space, so I just squished it in there. So 2020/2020, 2019/2020. So for example, I've been on the dean's list a few times, so I put that in there. You know, when you are getting, I think the GPA requirement is like a 3.5 at my university for that semester. And I've done that a few times, so those opportunities are in there so that the employer knows, okay, this girl, you know, is smart, she's doing it. And then I also put my hackathon projects in here. On one hackathon, I created a prototype app with my friends on how to better the relationship with your pets. And so it was just like an educational app. And that was really, really fun experience. And we did that in Java. So the opportunity is in there. It says it's a hackathon, so employers know that I'm active, you know, going out and applying all of this stuff that I'm learning in class, and, you know, building the language that I used in Java. And another hackathon I did a prototype website with my best friend, and we did this like illusion website that had stuff to do with like the universe and educational teaching of the universe and illusions and stuff like that. So that was also a really fun experience. That was on an HTML and CSS. So I was like the backend programmer for that experience, which was awesome. And my best friend was like the front end, so she was like drawing everything. It was really cool. So those 2 opportunities are in there. So this is a huge controversial topic for my friends and I. But I personally don't think that school projects should be on your resume. So for example, if you're in class and you have to make a website, you know, introducing yourself or something like that, or something like a huge project in the semester, and you try to put it on your resume, in my opinion, I just don't think you should do that only because I think that school requirements are, you know, required. I don't think that showcases any of your knowledge and any of your passion for computer science, because, you know, it's required because you're in a class. And I think like you can talk about the experience when you're like in your interview or something like that. Like if they're talking about more projects you've done, you can definitely do it. But in my opinion, I think the projects that need to go on your resume are either passion projects, like stuff you do in your free time, or hackathons. I just don't think school projects should be on there. And that's just like my opinion. If you want to put it on there, go for it if you have the space. I just don't think it should be on there. But again, that's just me. So on my resume, I have no school projects on there. And so that's my resume. So I hope that this video was informational and helpful to you. If you have any question, please leave them in the comments below. I really appreciate it. I'm very promptly and timely, and I will answer you. And if you have any suggestions for videos, let me know, because I will make them, as you can see, and I'll shout you out about it. If you would like, you can follow me on Twitter at _Davi. I'm very active on Twitter. You can DM me, ask me any questions that you want, and we can talk about anything, really, computer science or not. And if you would like to chat with me live, you can follow me on Twitch at Daviel_. I stream video games pretty regularly. Currently obsessed with Valorant, so that is the game that I'm currently playing the most. And so when people come from the YouTube and go to the stream and like ask me a bunch of computer science questions while I'm playing it, I'm more than happy to talk with you about that, because it's like super fun and all of that great stuff. So again, I hope that this video finally gave you some value about how to make your resume a bit better, or if just know what, you know, should be on it. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day.